John DeCocq with the Werewolf Borg back with round 3 of Marvel United. We're playing with the third villain from the main box, that is the Taskmaster. He's kind of a crazy guy in the comics. He can actually instantly learn and imitate combat maneuvers from anybody. So we take a look at his card. He only has 2 health instead of 4, so he's a little weaker than previously. One other thing you'll notice is he has no henchmen anywhere on the board. So we don't have to chew through a bunch of people to get to him. What he does have is a bunch of nasty little tricks up his sleeve. So on his BAM, deal 1 damage to each hero at his location and add 1 crisis token there. On an overflow, if you can't place a civilian or a thug at this location, add a crisis token to the location instead. Now he has no villainous plot. Unlike the last 2 who had a plot they were trying to do, he just has special rules. So number 1, heroes cannot damage Taskmaster as long as there are any crisis tokens on any location on the board. So we've got to go through and clear whatever crisis tokens he distributes first. So I think the thought is here is he's going around town setting up crises that the heroes have to solve. So below that it says heroes can discard a crisis token from any location if there are no civilians or thugs there by using either a heroic action or an attack there. So we have to clear out the civilians and thugs, and then we can use other actions to go ahead and clear that. Now his little tricks that he's got laying around here, for instance, this threat is called Elite Thugs. Every thug at this location requires 2 damage to be defeated. There's explosive traps. Every civilian at this location requires 1 extra heroic action to rescue. And finally, an entangling trap. Any heroes trying to leave that spot with a move token, or move action, must spend 1 extra move action instead, so it costs you 2 to get out of there. So this is obviously going to need a lot of heroic action to clear things up, because we've got to clear threats. Well, we don't have to. We can always defeat thugs and rescue civilians instead. But we're ready to roll with Taskmaster here. No villainous plot, and he's actually super weak, which makes sense, because he's not like you're fighting Ultron, where he's going to take a lot of damage. But it's tough to get to him. So his first is a move of 5. And he's going to move all the way around the shield helicarrier. He's going to add 1 thug and 1 civilian here. He's going to add 1 thug and 1 civilian here. Oh, no, he's not. Do we want a thug? We had thugs first. That's the rule. Thug first. Oh, we don't have an extra one. So crisis token on the shield helicarrier already. And then 1 thug and 1 civilian here. So he's already got 3 full locations. 1 move in. All right, Iron Man, you're the leader of the Avengers. Why don't you go ahead and go first this time?
All right, so this time around, we're actually using a couple new characters we haven't played before. So you've got Iron Man. He's pretty cool. Look at his little repulsions. I love that. Yep. That's pretty cool.
We've got the Wasp, and she's so small, she's hanging on the end of a die. So this looks more like the modern Wasp than the comic book Wasp, so it's probably Hope, not Janet. But for purposes of gameplay, I don't think that makes much of a difference.
Yeah, unless there's a special card that says Hope or Janet, then
exactly.
I don't have to worry about it.
I think we're going to be okay here.
All right, so I've got my first maneuver. So our ultimate goal, we still have to move these in order to even be able to attack.
Correct.
Once we get that going, we've got to remove those to be able to attack. Okay, right. So at the end of the day, what we want to do is start by getting as many of these as we can, and I don't have a whole lot. So... not a whole lot of moves here. What I will do...
Did you grab your first card too?
Oh, yes. Thank you. I always forget to draw up. Okay. So this is actually pretty interesting, and I may do this right away because I can imagine we're going to want to get out of those entanglement traps. So... Wasp actually does pretty good on movement. Now, what this says is that Stark resources. I can distribute 2 movement tokens from the pool among any number of heroes, which I'm assuming I could hand that to myself as well.
Absolutely.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play that one. So I'm going to take 2. Wasp, are you feeling pretty good that you can escape these entanglements, or do you think you want...
probably good if I had at least 1 just as a spare.
So I'll give you 1.
Just in case.
I'll take 1, and I get a punch.
Right.
Unfortunately, though, each one of this right now takes 2 to defeat. So it doesn't do me any good, but at least it gives it to her for the next round.
Of course, Iron Man doesn't have any other cards to fall back on, so Wasp is going to go ahead and draw. She's going to drop a double heroic action here. and logically used both of them to start going after this elite thug to get that thing clear. So Iron Man, back to you, and you've got double heroic this time.
Okay, so I've already got double heroic. Okay, so maybe not too bad here. So I don't have any movement anyway. So this is what we're going to do, guys. We're going to double punch. First I will use my one of the heroic, right?
Yep. Cleared.
Get rid of that.
Cleared.
And now it reduces these guys down to a single punch, which means I get to actually knock both of those guys out.
Right, and you still have an extra heroic.
I have an extra heroic, so what I'll do there is I will actually save or rescue this civilian.
Right.
So
and
not
end of
bad.
the turn, you have an end of turn power.
I may swap one card from my hand with your cards in the storyline. So, gee. Why don't I just get rid of this little guy and I'll take up the Stark resources again?
Makes a lot of sense.
Thank you.
A little more flexibility there. All right, that's 3 for us. So 1 for the Taskmaster. He's going to move 2. 1, 2. He's in Avengers Tower now. He's going to bam. Deal 1 damage to each hero here. There are none. Add a crisis token there. So that's going to happen. Now we got 2 of those to do. Plus he's going to add a civilian. Oh, not a thug, sir. A civilian. A civilian. And no civilians.
Crisis
token there instead. All right,
Does that trickle down, or it stops at that one?
Crisis tokens stay where they are.
But I'm saying as far as it just that's in
this
lieu
case,
of. I got you.
Is just crisis tokens.
Okay.
Yep. All right. So my turn. Wasp draws up. All right. We got to get some movement going here.
Yes, sir.
So I got 2 attacks I can use, which isn't a huge advantage because I'm not within 2 spots of a double. Actually, I could though. So I'm going to go ahead and energy projection with the Wasp. We're going to come here. I've got 3 punches. 1, 2, 3.
Very nice.
So we cleared a bunch of thugs off of there. Again, if I were trying to clear the civilian here, it would require a double heroic action. So that's not going to happen. That's back to you with a single punch, Iron Man. Sorry, I couldn't give you any better than that.
It's all right. Okay. Well, this gets very interesting. I've got 1 punch, correct?
Yes, 1 punch to lean on.
Okay, it's only 1 move. That's an entangled trap, which means I'll need 2 or heroic actions to get out of there.
Too.
Correct. So what I'm going to do is I will actually do an advanced combat analysis. So I get to distribute 2 punch tokens from the pool among any number of heroes. So we get 2 punch tokens. Wasp, I'll give you 1.
Thank you.
I'll hold on to 1. And then what I'm going to do is I get 1 movement. So I'm going to move over to here. And even though I might be entangled, right now I've got 1 punch there, right?
Correct.
So at least what I can do is get rid of 1 more of these thugs.
All right.
Okay? And I'm going to sit put for there right now.
All right. I got 1 more action before the Taskmaster goes again. All righty. I've got 1 move to take. 1 move. So I'm going to go ahead and drop a double wild card here. I'll use the move to move to Shield Headquarters. I'll use the 2 wild cards as attacks to clear the thugs off because we're almost done defeating thugs, but we're nowhere near rescuing civilians yet. So we're going to do that. That is all of my actions at this point. And
That's his turn.
Taskmaster turn. So Taskmaster this time is going to move 0. He's going to copycat. Add 1 thug to Taskmaster's location for each attack. At the bottom of the last 2 hero cards in the storyline, there are no attacks.
So he gets no thug.
0 happens.
So good.
All right, we got away real lucky that time. Iron Man, back to you. 2 wild cards in your possession, sir.
All right, so I get 2 wild cards, which is makes this real interesting. So what I'm going to do is I will actually go ahead and play that. Now, this is a power recharge. You may draw 3 cards until you have 3 in your hand, which I didn't need, but that's the only thing that I had to be able to play to get to this third one. So I'm going to take both the wilds and I'm going to take the heroic action I'm going to get rid of this threat, which was Entangled Trap. So now, not only did we get the threat cleared, but I may discard one thug from any location. Okay, I think I got one.
Board,
so that's a discard.
Because again, we're just trying to keep these down now so we can actually clear the crisis tokens and then eventually defeat the Taskmaster.
So that's the end of my turn.
So we'll have to draw back up. Right. So I've got one heroic action to use. Got Entangling Trap on me, so that does no good there. So what I'm going to do instead, I'll play another wild here. And I'm going to use it as two. I'll use a one heroic action with the wild, one heroic action from Iron Man. Put two heroic action tokens there. So we're clearing that Entangling Trap. We're one step closer to that. Back to you, Iron Man.
Okay, so I get one wild move. I can... don't have anything that we want to punch. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to play my regular 2. I'm going to use my movement token.
All right.
So I'm going to move to here. And I'm going to take my 2 heroic actions plus the wild to get rid of this explosive trap.
All right. Perfect.
So that clears that another threat.
Threats cleared.
At the end of your turn, you may search the deck for one card and set it aside. Then shuffle your deck and place that card on top.
So you know what your next card is.
Correct. So let's do that very quickly.
All right, while you do that, I'll draw. Actually, it's third. So Taskmaster is going to go whenever you're ready.
Go for it.
Move 2. So he's going to go to New York City Police Headquarters. So, I'm sorry, he's going to go over to Stark Labs. He's going to put a thug here. That one's full now. He's going to put a thug there. He's going to put a thug there, which exactly fills it up. No crisis tokens added anywhere. Oh, he's bam too. Sorry. Deal 1 damage to each hero here, and then add a crisis token. So throw a crisis token on police headquarters, please. So we got a lot of crisis tokens.
We've got a lot of crises.
We got to run it around. We got to do to deal with this. All right. So Wasp draws up. He gave me 2 heroic actions there. Goodness. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play that card.
Nice.
So I will use 1 heroic action to clear this last trap, which means, unfortunately, Taskmaster is going to activate after every 2 heroes now. But that's the way it goes. So that one's done. Now, yeah, got through. All right, I'm going to go ahead and move 1 here, turn in this move token to move 1 here, use my 1 punch to defeat this thug, which clears defeat thug, clears threats simultaneously. So now we can go after Taskmaster, even though he gets to act after each of us. Those 2
very nice.
Probably the best use I could think of for that extra move token I have there. And that is the end of Wasp's turn. So we still have to clear all these crisis tokens before we can go after them. We got 4 of those we got to take out.
Okay.
But I
think we're going to be okay.
So
this is what's going to happen.
we'll move an attack.
Move an attack, right.
So hopefully you can get a couple cleared in 1 round.
Okay, so this is what's going to happen. You may discard 1 card from your deck. Remove 1 crisis token from anywhere. Oh, look at that.
Nice.
So let's see if I can actually pull this off. Because I could attack this, move, have a second attack here, but I want to end up there. So I could do that without wasting a punch, though. I would lose my card. So is it worth losing a card to take care of that? Because I have a double punch already.
Well, his card goes back at the bottom, so you don't have to do it if you don't need to.
You may discard 1 card from your hand.
To the bottom of your deck.
Gotcha.
So it's just like you take a point of damage.
Then I would just...
It'll come right back in when you're done.
But I took a point of damage. I'll be down to 1 card at that point.
You only have 1 card left in your hand? Oh, 2 cards off your hand. Did you draw up the beginning of the turn?
I did. Remember, I had a point of damage.
Okay. Right, but you haven't played a card.
That's true, and I haven't drawn up yet.
Right. So you should get whatever card you put on top of your deck there.
This is actually perfect, I think. So, what we're going to do is play a wild.
Ooh, a double wild at that.
Double wild. So I'm going to use this punch. Well, actually, I'm going to save this punch. I'm going to use this punch to knock this out of here.
All right.
Okay. I'm going to move to here.
So that takes care of moving and attack. Now you got 2 wilds.
Okay. So I've got 2 wild. So what I'm going to do is... Is that all the crises? We got 1 more here.
Yep.
Then we can attack him.
Well, depending on what happens on his next turn.
All right. Iron Man's a risk taker. So, I've already used the punch and the move. He's going to use 1 wild to move here.
All right.
He's going to use his punch to get rid of that. He's going to use 2nd wild to move back here. At the end of your turn, you can discard a card and get rid of this.
All right.
So we'll do that. Listen, Wasp, I cleared the way for you.
Wow, but you are in pretty bad shape, so I hope you have
Hope
you have your power recharges here. That's just no good. All right, move 0. Dark Schemes. If there are no heroes in his location, place a crisis token there. So there are no heroes at the Taskmaster's location. Now there's 2 crisis tokens there. So I've got a double wild though. So here's what's about to happen. 2 wilds. Quite enough to do what I need to do, but we're going to...
Come on, Wasp. Take a chance.
I don't... If I had 1 better card in my hand, I could do...
You used your extra movement token already?
I did. I did.
Yeah, that might have killed me, that stupid power recharge. If I'd held on to that, we'd be in real good shape right now. But
well, even if you KO, you're only after 1 round, and then you start with 4 cards, so it's going to be okay, I think. All right. Wow.
So it might be better to get KO'd.
What I'm going to do is throw a wild card on there. I've shrunk. I cannot be damaged to the beginning of the next turn.
Nice.
I'm going to use a wild as a move. I'm going to use 2 wild as 2 attacks.
Nice.
And then I'm going to punch this chump once.
All right.
If I had
he only has
attack,
1 more?
I'd have KO'd him. He has 1 health left.
We might be okay depending on what this guy does.
Well, your move.
My move right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So I get to draw 1 up. Oh, it's so good.
Wait a second. I may swap 1 card from my hand with 1 card in my storyline.
Oh.
So
wow.
Why wouldn't I do that? Oh, gee, look, there's my double wild. I think I'll put a single heroic action there instead.
Weird.
Huh. Bizarre. That's all we need at this point is attack. And
so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to play Stark Resources, distribute 2 tokens from the pool. I'm going to take both of them.
All right.
And then I'm going to play both of them. So I'm going to go 1, 2, and then I'm going to punch this fool just to get him out of there.
All right.
All right, and that sets me up very well for the next thing, depending on what this guy wants to do.
Wild card too.
Oh, and I have a wild card. He's going to move though.
But why didn't you just use the wild for a 3rd move and punch the Taskmaster and beat him?
That is true. So let me take that back. Thank you. I'll move 1 more, and I will actually punch him, and he's done.
We do allow mulligans when we're learning a new game. So Taskmaster defeated. So we've actually handily won the last 3 games of this we played. The first one was close, but this one was interesting. Again, the synergy with defeating all the crisis tokens. We got lucky because we had the extra discard a crisis token from Shield Headquarters. Risk and reward. But there again, Marvel United, great game. We're having a lot of fun playing it, and we've played every character now except the Black Widow. So thanks once again for joining us. We appreciate it. And this is John and James DeCocq with the Werewolf Borg.